Hello guys and welcome back. So in my previous video I gave a definition of the coordinate planes, and we said that a coordinate plane is formed of two basic axes. These two axes are perpendicular and known as the y-axis, which is the vertical axis, and the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. And we said that these two axes divide the plane into four quadrants: the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth one. Also, we gave some properties about each quadrant. We said that any point belongs to the first quadrant, both coordinates should be positive, and x is positive and y positive. While if a point belongs to the second quadrant, then its abscissa is negative and its ordinate is positive, and x negative and y is positive. While if a point belongs to the third quadrant, then its abscissa negative and its ordinate is negative, and it's the opposite of the first quadrant. Finally, the fourth quadrant, which is opposite to the second quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. In this section, I'll focus on how do we plot points on a coordinate plane, and I'm going to do this using a particular example. So plot each of the following points. Of course, in this question, I try to summarize all possible cases in case you need to plot points on a coordinate plane. So I need to plot the points A to I. So I'll start by plotting the point A. So as you see, the coordinates of point A is 1, 2. 1 represents the abscissa and it's the x coordinate or the first coordinate, while 2 represents the ordinate and it's the y ordinate, or it's also known as the second coordinate. Now if you want to plot A is 1, 2, so you start from the origin, which is O, the point O here. So you go first. So you go 1 point by 1 unit to the right and 2 units upward, because it's 1 and 2. And then you plot the point A. Same thing, point B. Point B is negative 1, 3. So here, if you look at the sign of point B is negative, which means that we have to go to the left by negative 1 and we go upward by 3. And this will be the point B. So it's negative 1 and 3. Then we have the point C, which is 1, negative 1. So we go to the right by 1 and down by negative 1 because it's negative 1. So then C will be negative 1 and 1 and negative 1. So it's 1 and negative 1. Then finally we have the point D. So we have to go negative 2 to the left and negative 2 downward. So it will give negative 2, negative 2. So which means that this will be the location of the point D. So guys, of course, as you see, each point here in this example belongs to a different quadrant, and I give this on purpose to compare this with the properties of each quadrant. As you see, if you look at the coordinates for A, both x and y are positive. That's why the location of A is in the first quadrant. While if you look at the point B, you can note that its abscissa is negative and its ordinate is positive, and for this reason it belongs to the second coordinate. Same thing for point D. If you look at point D, both coordinates are negative, yani x is negative and y is negative. That's why it belongs to the third quadrant, which is opposite to the first quadrant. And finally, the point C, if you look at its abscissa is 1 and its ordinate is negative 1, and for this reason it belongs to the fourth coordinate, which is the opposite of the second fourth quadrant, which is opposite to the second quadrant. Now let us go and solve part B. In part B, guys, you can note that all of them includes 0. And if you start by point E, it's 0, 3. What do you mean by 0, 3? Since the first coordinate is 0, this means that we cannot move on the x-axis. So for x, we have to stay at the origin and we go 3 upward. And so E is 0, 3, so E is here. Same thing in point F. As you see, the abscissa is 0, so we stay first. For x, we stay on the origin, then we go negative 2 downward. So, which means that this will be the location of point F. Then same thing, we have point G. It's negative 1, 0. So we go negative 1 to the left, but we cannot go upward because as you see the vertical coordinate is 0 or the y coordinate is 0, which means that the location of G is -1, 0 is here. As you see, it belongs to the y-axis, x-axis. Then we have also the point H, which is 2, 0, so we go 2 to the right, and we don't have any vertical coordinate, so which means that this point will stay on the x-axis. Finally, we have the point I, 0, 0. As you see, 0, 0, or the point I doesn't have x a value, like for example, a positive, for example, a numerical or a number for x we have both, or for I we have both x and y are zeros, which means that this point will remain in its location. In fact, guys, usually we call the point I as point O, and it's known as the origin. Now let me give some properties about the points E, F, G, H, and I. As you see, guys, both points E and F have x equal to 0. For this reason, these 2 points belongs to the y-axis. In fact, every point with x equal to 0 have or belongs to the vertical line, which is the y-axis. Same thing in an opposite way. If the ordinate is 0, which means when y equal to 0, this means that the point will belong to the x-axis, and this is the reason why we can see H and G on the x-axis. Finally, the point I, as you see, both coordinates are 0, so it should belong on the y-axis and the x-axis at the same time. For this reason, it's the point of intersection between both axes, between the y-axis and the x-axis. This is everything for this section. Thank you for watching, guys. See you later. Bye bye.